Hello friends, this is our first lesson in the series of Indian writing in English. Now, in this lesson we shall discuss about the origin of English education in India, how things started as far as the English language is concerned in India. So, let's start. First we have a quote from the play Dr. Faustus. This play was written by Christopher Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe. It was written in the 16th century, if you remember, during the Elizabethan period, during I think 1590 or so, 92 maybe. So, what is special about this quote? In this quote, we have a special reference to India. So, I'll have them fly to India for gold, ransack the ocean for oriental pearl, and search all corners of new-found world for pleasant fruits and princely delicates. This statement is said by Dr. Faustus himself. It was in the Act 1 and Scene 1. Now, here it is, I think it is necessary to mention that during that time, the East India Company or the Britishers, they were exploring the world. They were looking to colonize the other countries, especially the eastern ones, eastern countries like India and some others like Japan or so, maybe Australia as well. So they were looking for the new world. They were looking to exploit these countries. They were going for the gold. So this thing to be remembered that the East India Company, it was established, it is a fact, it was established on 31st of December 1600, and that time they were looking to colonize the eastern world. Now we have two terms. Okay, there is nothing more to do with Dr. Faustus. I just mentioned this because it has the reference to the country India. Otherwise, before that, in English literature, we hardly hear the name of our country. Now, there are two terms now, Anglicist and Orientalist. Now, what is that? Anglicists are the people, the British people, who were in the favor of teaching of English language. They were in the favor that English should be the medium of education and every sort of teaching should be given to the students, okay, to the people through English language. So they favored English over the local or native languages of India. On the other hand, we have the term Orientalist. Now, these are the people who were not in the favor of English medium education or the English language. They rather preferred that the teaching should be done through the native or local languages like Sanskrit or maybe Persian language, Urdu sort of thing, yes, or Hindi. So we have two prominent names, Sir William Jones and Henry Thomas. They are the Orientalist. So remember, Orientalists are the people who preferred native languages over the English language. Now, they formed a society. The name of that society is Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal. It was established in the year 1784, and we have the term Brahmanized Britons. Briton stands for the British people, and Brahmanized are the people who are in the favor of native languages. So we have the people Sir William Jones, Henry Thomas. They are also termed as Brahmanized Britons. Now who called them? So we have one famous name, that is Thomas Munro. He is also along with them. Thomas Munro. Okay, there are not clear evidence or who coined this term, but we have some of these names, which are Sir William Jones, Henry Thomas, and Sir Thomas Munro. Okay, Sir has to be there along with his name. So they were the Brahmanized Britons who favored the Indian languages. Now we have Hickey's Bengal Gazette. The other title for this newspaper is the original Calcutta Advertiser. It was published weekly, and second thing is that it was the first newspaper of India, and it was also of Asia as well. So Hickey's Bengal Gazette. Then we have the colleges. The first college that was established in India, that was in 1817. Now remember, I'm talking about the college that talks about English language. There were other colleges like of Muslim education or maybe Sanskrit education. They were established earlier. But here we are discussing the colleges that promoted English language. So we have the Hindu College of Calcutta that was established in the 1817, and in that for that college we have the prominent name like David Hare and Raja Ram Mohan Rai. They were the, you can say, the prominent figures behind the establishment of that college. Later some other colleges were also established in Mumbai, uh, in other maybe presidencies, and all these were now later termed as Presidency College. And later a university was also established. First university. Okay, there is a difference between a college and a university. So first university was established in 1857 or so, somewhere around that period. And these were missionary schools or colleges. Now, missionary means they were spreading Christian or Christianity in India. They were promoting Bible, they were spreading their religion. Okay, they were using uh, the language English as a medium, but they were promoting the European culture. Remember this fact. When I am saying the people who were favoring the Indian languages, they favored the Indian culture, because culture is no different from the language. And when I say that if someone is favoring English language, it means that he was in the favor of English or European culture. So these missionary schools or colleges, they were promoting European culture and Christianity. After that we have one famous name, that is Lord Macaulay, or the full name of that person is Thomas Babington Macaulay. He is known as the father of English education in India. For promoting English language, he is the father, because he once in the House of Commons in 1833, I think, he gave a speech in the favor of English language. And what was the, okay, there is a quote regarding that. To trade with civilized men is infinitely profitable than to govern savages. Simple meaning, he is saying that we should educate the people. When the people are educated, then it is easier to govern those people than the illiterate peoples. Savage means something like uncivilized people, jungly log. So he was saying that we should first educate the Indian people. So now somewhere it is a harsh criticism of the Indians. He is calling the Indians as savage because they were not educated. Okay, this is the criticism of his words, but anyway, remember that he quoted that in the House of Commons. Okay, his speech is also named as minutes or minutes, or however you may pronounce. The official record of his speech. In that he mentioned that this quote, that to trade with the civilized people is infinitely profitable than to govern the savages. Okay, an official record that is called his minute or minute. Okay, whatever may you say, there may not be s. Anyway, moving on. Then we have another name, that is Lord William Bantic. He also favored English language, and they also opposed the local languages like Sanskrit or Persian, and they preferred that English should be there in India because they wanted the people who could speak English, who could understand English. Only then it will be easier for them to control things in India. And one fact is there during the period of 1850 to 1900, during that period, 32,000 books were sold in India, English written books. The books that were written in English language, these books were sold in India. So that is a fact that the now, after the period of 1850, we see the English language was spreading in India. And there is one more point. It was also beneficial for the Indians because we somewhere find that in history that through the English language people got united. Somewhere it helped the Indian to gain freedom. Anyway, we also had the concept of Swadeshi or Videshi, like as we were talking about the native languages, sorry. The native languages, they are termed as Swadeshi, as Gandhiji favored. And English language, it can be termed as Videshi, as many of the leaders, even Gandhiji also opposed this language. Anyway, so this is all about the introduction of English language in India. Now we have one prominent question in the previous year exam, so that is, read the question. Which of the following is the first newspaper of India? It was, so pretty simple, we have just discussed. So the right answer is Hickey's Bengal Gazette was the first newspaper of India. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. In the next lesson, we shall discuss the Indian writers. Remember, when we talk about Indian writing in English, it does not mean that the Indian writers who wrote in English. Okay, there are Indian writers, but we also discuss those writers as well who wrote in the local languages, but their works were later translated into English. So, thank you and have a very nice day.